Rutgers locally is a team that our viewers are super excited about. The resurgence of the squad under Pikel and their tremendous play from Ron Harper Jr. and Geo Baker.
I love them. I love their identity. I'm big on, like, really good teams have an identity, because identity comes first, then comes culture. Well, now they have their culture because they've actually had some success, but their identity, they're going to rebound, they're going to defend. Their backcourt is as physical and as tough as any backcourt in the Big Ten. And, they can guard the ball. They can attack you off the bounce. They can make shots. But they've got a tremendous toughness about them. And, I look at this Rutgers team. They were an NCAA tournament team last year. They're going to be an NCAA tournament team this year. I think they're going to end up in the upper third of the Big Ten, which the Big Ten is by far, not even close, the best conference in college basketball this year. And I think Steve's done an incredible job. What he's done is he's gotten his type of guys. The most important thing when you're rebuilding a program is not just to collect talent. The assistant coaches got to understand who can play for that head coach. And he's built it a little bit like Jim Calhoun built the Connecticut program. He played for Calhoun. They want to defend. They want to rebound. They want to be tough. They want to be a team that's hard to play against. He's done that, and I enjoy watching him play. I think they're a really special team.
Shout out Coach Steve, friend of the show. Can't wait to see where he takes Rutgers this year. But let's keep it local right now, man. St. John's, Seton Hall. Seton Hall lost a lot of players, lost Miles Powell, one of the Big East players of the year. What are your thoughts and expectations for Seton Hall and St. John's for the rest of this season?
I think the big thing is for Seton Hall is that they get the guard healthy. I mean, Aiken's got to get healthy. The kid was, Ivy League Player of the Year, Bryce Aiken, and they need that one more guard that can get in the lane, make a play, make a shot. I love Roden. I think that Roden kind of is going to emerge. I love Miles Kale, another wing who's a senior now, who's done great things off the court as well as on the court. This summer he was very active in the community, kind of standing up for all the right things and the social inequities that are going on in the world. A really impressive young man. And I'm a big Kevin Willard fan. I think Kevin Willard, he's very understated. He just coaches his team. He focuses on what he needs to do. They had a big win the other day, which was huge. And I think that moving forward, I think this team will continue to get better. It's hard when you lose a guy like Miles Powell. It's hard when you lose a guy like Quincy McKnight. Everyone talks about Miles Powell, and I'm a huge Miles Powell fan. I spent some time with their team last year. I just loved the way he carried himself. He was just a really good, hard-nosed, loved coach, loved ball, loved Seton Hall, really committed. But Quincy McKnight was really good. I mean, Quincy McKnight could guard anyone on the floor, made enough shots. Losing your backcourt like that is difficult. Kevin is a patient guy. He's demanding, but he's patient. He's going to rebuild their backcourt. So I really like their team. I think they're a work in progress, and they got to get Aiken healthy. St. John's, Mike Anderson's a really good friend, and style of play. I mean, who's their best player? Who knows who their best player is, because they're going to get 11 in about the first 5 minutes of the game. Champagne's very, very good and puts pressure on the defense, but it's their identity that makes them different. I mean, they're coming at you. They're forcing like 25 turnovers a game. They basically seduce you into playing faster than your ability. They're relentless in their style. Now, if you handle their pressure, they're not as good because they score out of their defense. But one thing about Mike Anderson's team, though, that is so underappreciated, his teams are great passing teams. I mean, not good passing teams. They're great passing teams. And a lot of it has to do is you watch them practice. They go 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4. Everything is full court. And there's such a premium put on the pace of play they play at, their spacing, but also passing the ball on time on target. And I think they're going to continue to get better as they continue to acquire talent. And I really like the backcourt. I like the little freshman guard. I think Anderson, he looks like he's going to be a very good player.
That Mike Anderson coming from that Nolan Richardson school of that intense 40 minutes. All right, Coach, we would be remiss if we did not get your thoughts on the latest developments that kind of are headlines in college basketball. We heard this week that Coach K questioned whether we were doing the right thing by playing. Yesterday, he made the move that he will not have his team play in the non-conference schedule, have not called the season. But honestly, Coach, when I heard this, you let your guys go home, you're opening up essentially a Pandora's box. So to me, I'm sure that he's calculated the risks. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first, his comments, he was talking about the NCAA, and the NCAA doesn't oversee your team. I mean, like, if you want to take a pause and unplug and plug back in and reboot, that's an institutional or conference decision. It's not an NCAA decision. The NCAA oversees championships. The NCAA oversees legislation and enforcement. But, yeah, I don't have any problem with it. Here is the problem I have. And Monica, you hit it right on the money. You know, we talk about student athlete welfare. We talk about putting them in safe environments. Being on campus with medical, having the ability to have medical people available to you 24/7. Like, God forbid a kid gets sick. If he's on campus, he's going to have the world-class medical assistance. If he's on campus, all right, he's not waiting in the emergency room. He's going to go to see the team doctor. He's going right to the front of the line. If he goes home, he's not going to be a safe environment. And I'm so tired. And Coach K, what he's doing, he has a right to do against his team. I have no problem with it. I'm not all about that. But here's what I am tired about. I'm tired about hearing people how tough it is. Because you know what? It's not just tough for college basketball players. It's not just tough for football players. We're in the middle of a pandemic. It's tough for society. It's tough for the world. It's not tough for just America. It's tough for the whole world. You know what's tough? I'll tell you what's tough. Our leaders in Congress and in the Senate that can't figure out to fit a stimulus bill to help people who've lost their jobs. All right. And if you're a parent and you can't feed your family, that's tough. You know, if you're a parent and you can't pay your rent or pay your mortgage, that's tough. Right. You know, look, everyone's been impacted tremendously by the pandemic. But you're living in a good place on campus. You're having your food delivered to your door. You go to the gym. You're working on your game. You have an opportunity to play some games. I understand it's unnatural what's going on, and it's difficult. And there's a mental health aspect to it, which I have tremendous respect for. But there's a mental health aspect to all of us. All of us.
Yeah.
And surely there's a mental health aspect to those that are less fortunate. You know, these players on campuses, the safest environment they can be in is on campus. Because, you know, they're basically in isolation environments. Basically, they're having expert medical attention. They're getting tested 3 times a week, 4 times a week, some 7 times a week. But I hate when people start saying, oh, woe is me, these poor athletes. And, yeah, it is difficult and it's unfortunate, but we're in a pandemic. The people I'm worried about, I'm worried about that mom and dad. I'm worried about that mom that's working 2 jobs and also homeschooling her child. That is tough.
Indeed.